Hi. Okay, so the prompt this month was to write a pantoum. Pantoum is a poem of quatrains or four-line stanzas, and the second and fourth line of each stanza become the first and third line of the following stanzas, except for the last stanza, in which the first and third line of the whole poem become the second and fourth lines of the last stanza. So it kind of lends itself to things coming around full circle. And I think if you read a lot of them, they often are probably depressing. But anyway, though I'm not an expert by any means. As you know from other videos and just from knowing me, I really don't like forms, but I'm a good sport. So I always try to do the prompt. In this case, I never write on paper anymore. I always write on my phone with one finger. But in this case, I had to start this poem on paper just because it is kind of like putting a puzzle together. And I also, it sounds really, I mean, it's going to sound really, really grim and dramatic, but it really wasn't that bad. I mean, writing the poem physically was harder than writing it mentally because I'm really past a lot of this stuff. And I'll tell you why at the end, I think. So it's called When Mr. Softee Comes. When Mr. Softee Comes. It'll ruin your appetite. Mom's plausible denial ability. When Mr. Softee comes. You melting in the window. Abandoned to Mom's plausible denial ability. Dad brooding in a bar or asleep at the wheel. You melting in the window. Abandoned to anesthetizing dreams, but no escape. Dad brooding in a bar or asleep at the wheel. Bleary-eyed wishes and prayers unanswered. Anesthetizing dreams, but no escape. Hope hiding like possums from motion lights. Bleary-eyed wishes and prayers unanswered. Gin is unwittingly the sovereign ventriloquist. Hope hiding like possums from motion lights. Fuck the shit you'll later pay to tell a shrink. Gin is unwittingly the sovereign ventriloquist. Spittily lips of a mumbling fool. Fuck the shit you'll later pay to tell a shrink. Like getting high with a friend after Al-Anon. Spittily lips of a mumbling fool. Choking on chunks of regurgitated truth. Like getting high with a friend after Al-Anon. Cleaning the filth and pleading the fifth. Choking on chunks of regurgitated truth. It'll surely ruin your appetite. Cleaning the filth and pleading the fifth when Mr. Softee comes. So, my father, he died with a lot of regrets and a lot of guilt because his drinking had stolen a lot of time from his life and from our family. But to tell you the truth, we had a good relationship for most of my life. The family itself, had a lot of trauma, like a lot of families do. But tell you a story about how I feel I got over this stuff is when he was dying. My father was on a bed in a hospital, and they took his lines of his medicine out, and he looked at his arms and he said, what's happening here? And my sister, because we were all masters of euphemism and evasion, and she says, well, you don't need it anymore. Yeah, he didn't need it anymore because he was dying, but it wasn't the object of that assessment. So he looks to me because I'm known to always tell the truth. That's my policy, to be honest. And he looks at me and I say, honestly, you really need to come to terms with your life. You need to make your peace, is how I put it. And Later after everybody left and I was talking to him, and he really got very scared. He was scared that he was going to die, and he said he's gripping the railing of the bed. I'm going to die. He's saying, I'm going to die. And I said, you are. I said, honestly, you are. I said, now really is the time to make your peace with yourself and God or whoever with your life. And I think when I did that, I made my peace with the whole thing. And so honestly, writing this poem, I got some kicks out of it because I was playing with words, and some of the stuff in retrospect is I'm not gonna say, I don't know what it is, but it's not as bad as it sounds. So anyway, there you go. Waiting for Mr. Softee.